Hey everybody, welcome back to Big Brain History. Today we're doing another reaction video. We are reacting to a day in the life of a Roman soldier. I've never seen this video, but I've seen some TED Ed videos and they're pretty good, so I'm excited to see this one. I will leave a link in the description below to the original video, so go ahead and check them out. But let's hop into it.
The year is 15 CE, and the Roman Empire is prospering. Most of the credit will go to the emperor, but this success wouldn't have been possible without loyal soldiers like Servius Felix. Servius enlisted as a legionary 8 years ago at age 18, the son of a poor farmer with few prospects.
Yeah, so he's saying that he has few prospects. He's the son of a poor farmer. Signing up to the military during the Roman Empire was a huge commitment. You had to be signed up for, I think it was a minimum of 25 years, which is a long time. But if you didn't have a lot of prospects, it was pretty much your only viable way to make a life for yourself. If you served the 25 years or longer, it could open the door for politics, which is something you had no hope of if you were a poor farmer or just in a lower class in general. So you get into politics. When you finished your service, you could get land for yourself, so you could have a farm of your own and make some money that way. It got you just higher in the social ladder than just a lower class. Being in the military was a great way to move yourself up, but you had to sacrifice 25 years of your life, which is something that you should wasn't taken lightly. But also, it could give you adventures. If you were like in this case, a poor farmer, you're probably not going to see much of the world. You're probably just going to be in your area for the rest of your life. But if you're in the Roman army, you might see all of the known world. You could travel all over the empire, which is also something that drew a lot of people. There was a lot of reasons people would sign up to be in the military, but money and higher status was definitely a big motivating factor.
Unlike the majority of legionaries, he doesn't gamble, so he's been able to save most of his wages. He's even kept his viaticum, the 3 gold coins he received when he enlisted. If he survives until retirement, he'll receive several acres of land, and he's grown rather fond of a girl back home whom he intends to marry. But he'll have to wait until he completes his 25 years of service before that can happen. And the life of a legionary is dangerous and grueling.
Imagine that. Like, that shows you the commitment. He's having to wait till he finishes his service. He's got to wait, I think, what, 17 more years to marry this girl, which is something that happened a lot in the Roman military. You could fall in love and then might have to wait 20 years before you can marry them because you were not going to be home very much. There was a huge sacrifice, but when you got out and you get to get married, you could give that person a lot better life once you were out. So
today, Servius's legion, along with 3 others, has undertaken a great march of 30,000 Roman paces, the equivalent of nearly 36 kilometers. Servius's armor and weapons, including his gladius, scutum, and 2 pila, weigh over 20 kilograms. And that's not counting his backpack, or sarcina, which contains food and all the tools he needs to help build the camp: spade, saw, pickaxe, and basket. Although Servius is exhausted, he won't sleep much tonight. He's been assigned the first watch, which means looking after the baggage animals and keeping alert against a possible ambush. After he's done, he lies awake, dreading the day ahead, which will force him to recall his worst nightmare. At dawn, Servius eats breakfast with his 7 tent companions. They're like a family, all bearing scars from the battles they've fought together. Servius is from Italia, but his fellow soldiers hail from all over the empire, which stretches from Syria to Spain. So they're all far from home in the northern land of Germania. Servius's legion and 3 others with him today are under the command of Emperor Tiberius's nephew, Germanicus, named for his father's military successes against the Germanic tribes.
yeah, so Germania was a huge territory that the Romans were never able to fully conquer. I'm sure you've heard of the Teutoburg Forest. There was times where the Romans tried to move into Germania and got destroyed. So it was kind of a land of boogeymen to the Romans. There was the evil barbarians that lived out in the woods, and there wasn't a whole lot the Romans really wanted out there anyways. But it's if you look at the Roman maps, it's just the area where they just did not want to go. That and then the Persians to the east were lands that they never really could conquer.
Each legion has close to 5,000 men, divided into cohorts of about 500, further subdivided into centuries of around 80 to 100 men. Each century is commanded by a centurion. An aquilifer, or eagle bearer, marches at the head of each legion, carrying its eagle standard. The centurions march beside the legionaries, belting out orders: dex, sin, right, left, starting with the right foot, as the left is considered unlucky or sinister. Despite the strict discipline, there's tension in the air. Last year, some legions in the area revolted, demanding better pay and a cut in the length of service. Only their general's charisma and negotiating skills prevented wholesale mutiny.
Yeah, so that happened a lot in the Roman Empire. Frequently, especially later on in the Roman Empire, as it got to the point where it was kind of crumbling, the Roman army would constantly revolt against the emperor, demanding more pay and more pay and more pay and less time of service. It got to the point where every Roman emperor was just getting appointed by the army to whoever was going to pay the Roman army more. So it's kind of like a bid for the Roman army's favor. The Roman state was never able to fully figure out how to get the Roman army to be loyal to Rome and not to whatever general they were following, and is a big reason why the Roman Empire collapsed. So them talking about this is only one of the first times this happens, but it's definitely not going to be the last, and it's going to be a problem for the rest of the Roman Empire.
Today is a just march, only 30 kilometers. As the marshes and forests of Germania lie beyond the empire's road system, the men must build causeways and bridges to make headway, something they've recently spent more time doing than fighting.
Yeah, so I'm pausing a lot, but I have a lot to say about this. To be a Roman soldier, you weren't just a soldier or a warrior. You were an engineer. You built all the time. There are many Roman battles where they won just because they had better engineering and better builders in their army. Julius Caesar, for example, won many battles in his campaign against armies that were 2 or 3 times larger than his, just because he was able to build amazing fortifications quickly. Being great engineers is something that Rome stuck to because they saw how useful it was in winning their campaigns.
Finally, they arrive at their destination, a place Servius knows too well. It's a clearing on the outskirts of the Teutoburg forest, where 6 years ago, during the reign of the Emperor Augustus, Germanic tribes under their chieftain Arminius ambushed and destroyed 3 legions. Proceeding along a narrow path, the legions were attacked from forest cover under torrential rain, with their escape blocked. It was one of the worst defeats the Romans ever suffered, and Augustus never lived it down.
Yeah, so Caesar Augustus, one of, if not the best Roman emperor that ever lived, incredible emperor that lived a long, long time, which is one reason he was so great. That was probably his biggest failure in his emperorship. Whenever this happened, it was a huge blow to the Roman pride because they had just lost tons of legions in this forest in the middle of nowhere in Germania. And according to history, which I don't really know if it's a true quote or not that he actually said, but according to legend, Caesar Augustus, when he heard of the news of what happened in the Teutoburg forest, he screamed out, "Varius, give me back my legions." Just a pretty cool quote that I've always loved.
Servius was one of the few survivors. Servius still has nightmares of his comrades lying where they fell. But now the army is back to bury the dead with full military honors. As he helps in the task, he can't help wondering whether the bones he handles belonged to someone he knew. Several times he wants to weep aloud, but he pushes on with the task. The glory of the empire can go to the crows. All he craves is to retire on a small farm with his wife-to-be, if the gods should spare his life for 17 more years. If you want to learn more about the hopes, dreams, and daily trials of life in ancient civilizations, check out our Day in the Life playlist.
Yeah, so that was super short and sweet, but I really liked that video. Like I said, I'll leave it in the description below if you liked it. Leave a like and subscribe. I'll really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. I hope you all had a great day.